Looks like that's a job well done. Welcome back, viewers, fans, and subscribers all the same, to the official YouTube of T.A.C.T Productions Incorporated. Y'all already know the jam. My respects here for a good clan battle offered and pitched today by T.A.C.T and by Intent, and it was a job well done on a good clan battle, well represented. Alright, my schedule's been a rather bit torn between trying to do my own specific responsibilities on PS4 communities between Kingdom Hearts and Rainbow Six Siege and Destiny, and then my own personal projects on Batman Arkham Knight back in Gotham City. Before I get ready to head back there, I want to try and make sure I can complete my work here by going over the general synopses for the clan battle in tow, like what I always do in these situations, because it's what I always do, and it wouldn't seem right to respectfully leave a clan battle unchecked if I didn't check it from top to bottom through these particular voice recording relevant analyses. So, let us begin. Alright, the timing for this happened on Saturday that it just recently happened. This was on Saturday the 8th or 9th, I do believe. I was able to get back in time from the grocery store in order to rendezvous with my team and set this up accordingly, as I had instructed to Blaze Enzon to continue in my place just in case something or something may happen on my end that would deter me from being generally late or seemingly punctual like I generally am for a lot of clan battle relevant activities. I try to be punctual to these things, that way I can set up for my team, because I don't know if my team will generally know or ever really know what to do a lot of the time, or the lot of the time. So I try to structurally lay it out. Everybody does what they need to do, bada bing, bada boom. The general outline of the clan battle was to start at 1 p.m. Eastern time, but the actual start time was about 1:45, just about 2-ish in the afternoon Eastern time, or 1 p.m. specific time. This was due to the fact in us just generally waiting for the 4th and or 5th respective players for both of our teams in order to arrive, so we can generally continue into the clan battle with whoever it is that would show up. And then depending upon who would show up, I could then give Blaze a general outline for how or what strategy to go upon. The main premise for this battle was no strategy or stratagem that I created. Everything here was actually predominantly created by Blaze Enzon. So, Blaze, good work on creating a lot of the tactical layouts for this clan battle. It's a job well done. I look forward to calling upon some of these strategies again. That way it gives T.A.C.T other options to work with aside from relying on my own experiences like we've been doing all these years. I want to try and open up the panel every now and again to somebody new or to something new. That way other people can get an idea of trying to have their own ideas come to light. If everything is up to snuff, you have every possible contingency or margin of error covered, or you're trying to incorporate different senses of perspective or ideals into your general viewpoint. That way it'll give you the true tactical layout that you want to be looking at before actually laying out the groundwork for who's going to do what role and who plays off of whom best. As detailed as that specific sentence may have sounded, I assure you it's actually a lot more straightforward than it may initially presume once you actually get your feet dirty in that line of work, or when you're looking at different players and different playing styles that may go well with them. And so in time the match was able to settle upon in, and we could do the general 5v5 like what we needed to do. There were some instances on T.A.C.T's end in trying to amass the right amount of people, so I did have to postpone this one time before and set it back to the weekend here, when it was supposed to be the weekend actually preceding the past weekend just now. So this was last weekend, that's one. It was originally supposed to be 2 weekends back. But because there wasn't anybody on our end that was genuinely sure that they could commit or didn't actually speak up until the last goddamn second, I went on ahead and had to back away from the match and tried to set it up for the following week. That way I could give people more than enough time to let me know if anything is happening in real life, to give me a play-by-play. Let me know what's going on. If you want to be in the match, fine. If you can't be in the match, fine. Let me know something in advance. That way I'm not assuming anything. I'm not sitting here making a jackass out of myself. For those that do let me know, thank you. For those that don't, I need you to be a lot more timely about that, please, and thank you. So here we go, starting into round 1, which was capture the flag on, I want to say our host, I believe. Defensively speaking, the launch of this match was astronomically in our favor. Offensively speaking, I cannot say the same thing, as there was a huge disconnection of momentum or synergy, like a flow, a rhythm, something that allows you to get the ball rolling quick enough. That way we can start getting kills on the board and get points on the board and start making flag captures. Something was not generally clicking for us like it needed to, because we didn't pick up the momentum and the pace until later on as the match progressed, as the match escalated generally. Here, we made a number of successful flag defenses, but the problem was securing or consistently securing flag captures from intense base. We were able to get 1 or 2 of them here specifically, or at least get them past the compound if we couldn't get the later 1 or 2 into the doorway for T.A.C.T. But the problem was a series of misplacements or a couple of unfortunate events, which can all easily be corrected, that did lead to us dropping the ball at a couple of different instances. And unfortunately, one of them was an excessively highly crucial point when Grimwave had the flag and Hotshot got killed because of being AFK at that point due to real life concern at that point. And it was a very difficult. There's really nothing I can say about that. It was just a very difficult situation to work around, and it was bad timing on both people's accord, but it was a necessary factor of bad timing, as real life supersedes video game enthusiasm or video game interest or online interest. So barring whatever it was that's in real life, it's more important than what's happening here on a video game. It's just unfortunate for us that it happened at that particular time when we were about to likely score, and then had the flags reversed, and then they ended up scoring just like that in that exact same instant. And then later on, the synchronization of the medic placements I noticed was also a factor here. This was no big deal, honestly, but it is something that I do want to take a note of, as this was Remy's first match as the medic for T.A.C.T. There are others that I had in his place that I did want to try and have there for that, but with them being AFK or non-responsive, originally it was likely going to be myself that was going to fill up and cut in that slack for both of the preceding healers I had designated for T.A.C.T. But instead I decided to give it to him. That way we gave him an opportunity to use his scientist skills a lot more fluently and creatively in combat. Thus he was able to, and he was able to highly capitalize. The only real criticism I would give him on his capabilities on medic gameplay and medic consistency generally revolve around prioritizing between the flag runner and prioritizing between being in the field. Because you don't always want to be a combat medic. There are times where you predominantly need to be a defensive medic first and foremost. You want to be the guy that steals people's kills, healing them like an added turret onto somebody else, healing them. Not so much being an aggro medic where you want to try and go and get the kills yourself and end up stealing their kills altogether, or get killed trying to get kills. Similar mindset on how you would play Mercy on Overwatch, basically. And for those that generally are scientist players or are medics on Transformers Fall of Cybertron, or have been past ones in War for Cybertron or during the CBL League, you'll understand the thought process in what it is I had stated in that specific comparison. Then later on, like I said, during the latter half of the game, basically when it's about to be over, then suddenly a huge amount of momentum falls into T.A.C.T's favor, where we're able to get a point on the board out of nowhere, discontinuing intense point-by-point shutout against us. And so the capture the flag was lost at 4-1. We were able to get a point on the board all the same. And by the time we started picking up the pace and started basically outdoing them, it was already too late and CTF was done. Next, from there we move into round 2, which was the conquest portion. This strategy, again, was another strategy outlined specifically by Blaze, and modified from what it is he wanted to take from a past strategy that I had before with a modified 4v4 that came off of a 5v5. The last time I had to do a modified game plan outline was when it was honestly the Pride of Festoon battle of 2016 was the last time I had a modified one, when I was modifying it from a 4v4 to a 3v3, and what it is you want to predominantly prioritize with first and foremost. This was Intense Host, our map pick. I had Blaze and Remy pick the map outline for this one. With Blaze's time cut short, we needed to try to hurry up this specific strategy and hopefully try to get a point back on the board in our favor. Picking what we picked Tempest a second time. This was crucial from what it is that Blaze wanted to try to implement with a specific strategy like last time, because last time we were in this game mode against them for that same map and that same team, we were able to emerge triumphant against them. We were hoping to repeat that same amount of success, but it was not able to happen as straightforwardly as we had written out. The plan here was derailed at a couple of different points with our splitting up process and we stuck between flyers for one team and the ground support for another team. 2 destroyers, 2 scientists, sentry scientists, 1 a power core, 1 being I can't remember what the name of the other one is, but it's the one that stands still, but it's not the slow motion one. It's basically the other one where you do a lot of duck hunting. For that one there, I switched out Hotshot predominantly for Apex Angela Bays, and this would be Angela Bays' first return in clan battle in the Transformers community since UNK, I believe, since the UNK Nation. And that was with him and his father, Apex Senior, that had both chimed in for me at that point, back when we fought the Unknown Nation. ACW 2.0 for those who don't know what UNK was or is. Anyway, Apex and I went Scientists. Grimwave and Blaze both went ground support destroyers. For that one, we were able to hold a very strong counteroffensive against them. But I can't help but feel like a number of the tactics in that game plan were either flawed or were either scouted out in advance as the match persisted. One or the other, I'm not entirely sure, because after a while it started getting a lot harder to keep mixing it up and try to be more unpredictable. That way it would be less likely for them to double cap us as fast as we're working to double cap them. But it was thwarted at a couple of different intervals, and we weren't able to pick the pace back up like we needed to. And I gotta look back at the footage, but I feel there were a couple of points where we either split up physically or we kind of split up mentally, and we kind of assumed that other people were around when they probably may not have been around or not have been close enough to have backup support. Or there were others where people are possibly out of position or can possibly not be as vocal or open to what may be happening around them, or may not even be aware altogether about what's happening around them. Assumptions, basically, is mentally or combatively assuming. I feel may have contributed a little bit to that loss, but all the same, a loss is a loss. Capture the Conquest was lost at 400 to 313, I believe, because it was very close at first, and they started putting it away with the double cap, and then at one point I believe also a triple cap. But all the same, it was 400 to 313 was the final score for Conquest. And then lastly, that takes us into round 3, which was the team deathmatch closer. Even though the match did reach match point at the end of round 2, which made the battle the match had closed in Intense favor. You'll have to excuse me for a lot of points where I gotta backtrack, because it's been difficult trying to get back into this jam in order to make sure that I assess everything from top to bottom, and I gotta make sure that everything I'm doing is very detailed and usually in a general flow like how I usually do these things, but my mind has been constantly slipping back and forth because of factors in real life, and so it's just bear with me here, but I am trying to make this as straightforward as possible. The flow of Team Deathmatch here started off very strongly, but I can't help but feel that a couple of factors of obliviousness or experimentation didn't allow us to try and get the win here, because something else was out of flow. I don't know what else was not going on here, like what needed to happen during Team Deathmatch's session. I know Grimwave and Blaze could not be there because of in real life, and so I needed to have two other people in order to switch in respectfully to take their positions, which was easily done. But a different team assessment needed to be handled. So since there wasn't any power play that we could apply, I went on ahead and I applied a light class backup strategy that I had in my vault for a rematch with CDF, the Cybertron Defense Force, later on down the line, which never really happened. But these same outlines that I have here for that can eventually be applied and were applied here for this match. So that way a strategy that I honestly thought would stay dead would be useful in the end towards some beneficial gain, and there was a gain to it. This one here, I put Remy back in as the medic, that way he could also have a round 2 at the medic, and also be able to try and dust off a little bit of aerial bouncing around, so he'd be able to be more effective for the team and get a better grasp of being more of an aggro medic on this playing field and for this level, rather than on the capture the flag where I need to be a defensive medic. Here he can be an aggro medic and can be just as effective, if not more so. And then the rest of that, I made Apex go Destroyer and myself go Titan, myself go Destroyer, and then we're basically just replaying the same idea from Conquest on the Team Deathmatch, but we're switching up key people. This way we'll also allow different people to try out different strategies and different classes than what they generally do. And heck, I might even see something different that I may not have seen before. Here, Apex was actually able to go Destroyer and drop a decent KD than what I predicted that he could do as a Destroyer. It's his first time playing Destroyer in a clan battle, as opposed to always being a scientist or always being a medic or being that dependable medic person. It allows him to be outside of his comfort zone so he can try out different options. And heck, he actually ended up being a very decent Destroyer for all intents and purposes. So he's another optimal Destroyer-based person we can utilize in different situations. That one also ended in our loss at 25 to 40, I believe 25 or 26 to 50 or something like that. But I know it was somewhere around there. Anyway, it was a good game all the same. I look forward to whenever it is we can try and hit up a rematch with Intent or any other clans in the future. It pays to try and learn from all the pros and cons that happen throughout the totality of this clan battle. That way we can try to figure out how to tighten up what we need to do on our end to be more consistent and more varying with a lot of options that we may have, or different ideas that people have that they want to apply. Again, just try to converse with yourselves as best as you can. That way it's not like you always have to rely on me. Try to rely on yourselves. Take that gamble and bet on yourselves. Try something different. Don't always try to go with the norm, because if you go with the norm, as effective as it may be for you, it is also going to be predictable for others to predict what you're doing, and it'll be easier for them to kill you. You got to keep mixing it up. You got to be creative, be innovative, be original. Crap like that. Anyway, that wraps up the segment and general clan battle synopses for Intent and T.A.C.T Incorporated Chapter 3. Y'all have a blessed one ahead, and as always, till all are one.
Love you've given to me, seen in me things I would never have seen. I don't understand why you care so much. It's all a mystery.